Charles Gates, in his late 20s, was brought to the Montgomery City Jail shortly after 6:30. Gates was arrested earlier in the day at a North Montgomery bar after he had attempted to sell a gram of cocaine to a pair of undercover agents, one from the city police and one from ABC. Narcotics officer Jim Tender and ABC agent Larry Williams described the series of events.
We had planned to make a buy-bust on this, in which case this Charles subject did sell a gram to these two undercover police officers, and he was busted at that time.
And Officer Williams, you were involved in actually going out to the house where some more cocaine was found?
Yes, sir. Myself, the Montgomery City police officers, Deputy Dick Wade, and Sheriff Sidney Thrash executed a search warrant on Charles Gates' home on Rifle Range Road in Elmo County and seized the approximately 1.25 ounces of cocaine, a good bit of marijuana, some White Cross pills, other type pills, and some other type pills, and a good bit of drug paraphernalia.
What was the street value of the drugs that were found?
Approximately $2,500. The cocaine. The pills, what about that, Jim?
The pills would probably run about $1 hit. There was 30 or 40 pills there. That's not that much money.
Talking about just about $3,000
right.
total?
The cocaine was mainly the most expensive thing on the street value-wise.
Gates was reportedly on probation on drug charges in Oklahoma. Officials in that state said this evening that Gates' probation would be revoked as a result of this arrest. He faces one charge of selling cocaine in Montgomery and 5 other charges of drug violation in Elmore County. He was to be transferred to Elmore County after being formally charged here in Montgomery. This is Dave Rickey, WSFA TV News reporting.
I never thought, but the Lord has vowed away and the pay is come raising.
People there say you do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Oh, you agree?
Yeah, I do. I agree. And I do the work we're supposed to do.
He's having problems getting his retirement set up. He wants to retire. These are people who work at the sanitation department, and they verify that Arthur Adams has been working for the sanitation department since 1954, 1955. He's not really sure how long or when he first started. Could you check to see if these people started here when they say they did?
Sure.
I know that a lot of the records, a tremendous amount of the records were lost in the fire of 37. People who are working, possibly were working prior to then. The laborers during those earlier years prior to, I believe it was prior to Social Security, there was a different system. At one point, the records were not kept the way they are today. As a result, we have to get sworn affidavits of people that worked with them at the times that they say they were employed. These employees, what you've asked me to do is to check into these records to see if they were employed at the time that this man was employed. The earliest employment date, as you can see, is here, June 19th of 52, which in this case, we do have the record of this employee, and it would verify the fact that he says he was here around the year 51 or 52. No, this is Herbert Webb.
I know,
but he says he was here when Arthur Adams first came to work. So this verifies that.
Okay.
From here, you will take the verified affidavits to Ms. Lane, the city controller. She will at that point request from us his last 12 months income that he's worked. From there, we will give her the certification, which she will sign. She will submit the retirement application to City Council. The City Council at that point will act accordingly. There should be nothing to prevent them from doing it. But they will check it out. They will give the approval, at which time, as soon as it's approved by them for the date that he has requested, he would be severed with his current employment. And then he would go on to the pension payroll and be paid for 50% of his pay for as long as he lives.
Hey, all right. We'll be processing your papers for retirement quick as I can make a letter with these 3 statements that you brought to us. So when you get ready and prepared for retirement, it probably will be the last day of the month. So at your convenience, come in and we'll discuss it, and I'll write up the letter and turn these papers back into finance for your retirement.
All right. Okay.
So enjoyed working with you. You've been a good employee.
Thank you. You are too.
Mr. Adams, tell me how you feel now after all this time.
I feel good. Happy. I'm happy. I feel that I did good service for the city sanitary department.
This is the second time Alabama Governor George Wallace has decided not to run for a seat in the United States Senate. He first started deliberations when it was firm that John Sparkman would retire from the Senate. Then Governor Wallace decided in Gulf Shores that he would not campaign for that seat. Then the heart attack that killed Jim Allen started the process all over again. His decision came today.
I feel that he just came back to the same reasoning as a few weeks ago when he announced that he would not be a candidate for the seat, the Sparkman position, the 6-year term, and the same reasons apply here as applied there, in my opinion.
Okay, those reasons were he didn't want to go to Washington.
I guess simply stated that was it, that he did not want to leave Montgomery at this time.
There have been some questions as to whether or not his health had something to do with it.
Well, I don't find any appreciable change in Governor Wallace's health. I'm not his doctor. I haven't consulted with his doctor in recent days or weeks, in the process of his making this decision. But I think this is more of a personal decision that I can't tell you what would have happened in the governor's decision if he had not been shot in 1972. But no, I don't think health as we know it and as we've become accustomed to working with the governor from a wheelchair, I don't think health was the factor in the decision. And I think his health is as good today as it was a year ago or a year before that, except that he's like the rest of us. He gets a little older as time goes by.
Mr. Kemp, there's one part here that says, quote, I want to say that this does not mean that I am retiring from politics. That leaves open a lot of things to speculate on, and reporters are just wondering, what does that mean?
Well, that means that they can speculate. The governor will have to answer that in time himself, and I'm sure he will. I think he goes on to say that he's going to continue to be active and interested in those matters affecting the state and nation. And I cannot perceive the time coming in my own mind that Governor Wallace would not be interested in those things.
Even before the governor's announcement that he would not run for the U.S. Senate got out of the Capitol building today, there was new speculation that Alabama Governor George Wallace would run for lieutenant governor here in the state of Alabama. We asked one staff member here in the Capitol about that rumor, and he said, and I'm quoting now, it would be like Shug Jordan returning to his high school to coach high school football. This is Norman Lumpkin, WSFA TV News at the Capitol.
Fernando, you do speak English, one of your 4 languages, huh?
Yes, I do, just a little bit.
Lucky for us. You've been in this country only since, what, February this year?
Yeah, since December. I played the Sugar Bowl and 2 other tournaments in January, and then I went to USC.
You decided to stay around this summer and play tournaments?
Yeah, I'm playing the American Express circuit, and I'm playing this tournament here. And I think I'm going to play 2 more tournaments, the national clay court, and then I think I'm going home.
To Brazil?
Right.
I notice you Your on-court language is different from English. What do you use?
I talk in Portuguese.
You do?
Yeah, I
Well,
do.
that's the least understood language around.
Yeah, but nobody can understand.
You find you can say what you want to say.
Yeah, but I never say, I just try to say nice things.
What are your plans for you want to get your education here and play all the tennis you can?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to stay for more 2 years at the USC, try to improve a lot my tennis, and try to get my education too at the USC. Try to be graduated in business administration.
Fruits such as Chilton County peaches are being harvested this week, as are vegetables, wheat, and hay. But Alabama's cotton crop is reported maturing slowly. The Crop and Livestock Reporting Service says only 7% of the cotton acreage was estimated to be squaring, compared with 27% this time last summer. The Auburn Extension Service says unusually large numbers of boll weevils are being found in the fields throughout central and south Alabama. Extension Service entomologists say harsh weather this past winter caused most cotton farmers to expect only a few weevils when hot weather came. Although many of the weevils didn't survive the winter, those that did are now reported posing a threat to early planted cotton. Extension Service officials say insecticides applied prior to cotton fruiting could kill the weevils, but the chemicals should be applied immediately to avoid cotton losses. Alabama corn is reported in good condition with just under 30% tasseling. European corn borers are threatening much of the 650,000-acre corn crop, with heaviest infestations in North Alabama. Although cotton borer larvae are not yet matured, much of the damage has already been done, as the larvae may have already bored into the stalks. Corn growers should contact their county agent for possible control measures. Janet May, WSFA TV News reporting.
Rebels left fielder Al Green is more than just someone who hits home runs. He's an intelligent young man with confidence in his own abilities as a ball player. Green is not cocky, but he's not quiet either. You see, Al Green loves to talk. In the outfield, he talks constantly. He talks freely with reporters, and he enjoys talking with and helping the young ball players at Rebel baseball clinics. But at the plate, Al Green lets his bat do the talking, and it's had plenty to say this season. Green's 15 homers lead the Southern League, and he has a good chance to break the Rebels' single-season record of 28 homers. But despite all that, Green doesn't consider himself as strictly a home run hitter.
I consider myself more as a line drive hitter, and basically that's all my swing is. If you know, it's always level. So I wouldn't consider myself a home run hitter, but the balls just seem to jump out the park. And most of my home runs have been line drive, so call it what you will.
What are you thinking about when you go up to the plate? Are you thinking home run now?
No, I never think home run. Just get the head out and make good contact. That's all.
Green has made enough contact to lead the league in doubles as well as home runs this season, and he says he's more relaxed at the plate now, so he's making contact more often. But word spreads fast in the Southern League, so have opposing pitchers changed their strategy against Al Green?
A couple of teams are. Everyone else is trying to keep the ball away from me. teams like Knoxville and Nashville's team, they've been pitching me in. They're trying to throw the ball in at my hands. And it's worked so far. And that's why this is what I'm working on now, is hit that inside pitch. When they throw it in at my hands, I want to be able to try to knock the first baseman down with it.
That type of attitude has made Green the team leader in practically every offensive category. But like any athlete, Green strives for more consistency.
The only thing that I have to prove, I say now, is just being able to go out and play steady every day. If I can play 140 games healthy, get my 2-3 hits a night, hit 15, 20 home runs a year, that's all I have to do.
Green believes he's ready to move on to the Detroit Tigers AAA farm team in Evansville, but he realizes there's not too many spots open on the Evansville roster. And Green knows there's a lot of young talent in the Detroit organization. He welcomes the challenge. In the meantime, the Montgomery Rebels are happy to have Al Green right where he is. Dan O'Brien, WSFA TV Sports.
Montgomery Circuit Court Judge Perry Hooper has set June 28th as a date for sentencing of former State Treasurer Melba Till Allen. A jury of 7 women and 5 men found Mrs. Allen guilty Saturday of violating the state ethics law in that she failed to fully disclose her outstanding loans for 1976 to the State Ethics Commission. Mrs. Allen, presently under a 3-year prison sentence for another violation of the state ethics law, faces a sentence of 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine, the maximum under the law. The Montgomery Circuit Court jury was handed the case at 10:37 Friday evening. After an hour and 42 minutes of deliberation, it sought further guidance from the court on procedures in using prepared forms to report financial disclosures to the Ethics Commission. Following another hour and 49 minutes, and at 2:14 a.m., the jury returned with a verdict, guilty as charged. A grand jury indictment charged that Mrs. Allen reported to the Ethics Commission that she owed money to 12 Alabama banks at the end of 1976, when she actually owed 36 banks $1,200,000. Mrs. Allen, who took the stand in her own defense, said she listed the 12 loans because they were the only ones she considered to be personal loans, and they did not involve business or corporate investments. Melvin Cooper, the executive director of the State Ethics Commission, testified the first day of the trial that he could not tell from Mrs. Allen's report how many loans Mrs. Allen owed. The former state treasurer testified she filed a supplemental form with the Ethics Commission and intended to list or account for loans to 45 banks, even though she listed only 12 on her financial disclosure forms. She told the court she complied as she understood and was wrong by waiting until the last minute to file with the Ethics Commission. In closing arguments, the attorney for Mrs. Allen said she had submitted to the Ethics Commission more than was required by law. Jim Atchison of Mobile also told the jury his client gave the Ethics Commission blanket authorization to check banks where she had loans, and that the charges brought against her was a deliberate move by someone to do her in by leaking information about her financial status to the media. Atchison challenged the jury to look his client in the eye and say she hasn't complied with the law. She has complied, he claimed. Montgomery District Attorney Jimmy Evans said the whole case concerned the responsibility that public officials owed to the public. And in his closing arguments told the jury, it's time to tell elected officials that we, the public, are going to know what public officials are doing. Evans declared it's time the people of Alabama had a place to go to get information on public officials, and that place, he said, is the Ethics Commission of the state of Alabama. There was little of any emotion in the courtroom when the jury returned its guilty verdict after deliberating 3.5 hours. Mrs. Allen was asked if an appeal would be filed. She replied, "You bet there will." Sentencing is set for 9 a.m. next Wednesday in Judge Perry Hooper's court. Mrs. Allen faces still another indictment of violating the state ethics law. Reporting from Montgomery Circuit Court, George Mitchell, WSFA TV News.
The National VFW organization said today that this Montgomery office has the best record of services to veterans of any employment service office in the country.
The primary reason this office has excelled with veterans is its veteran input among its staff. Operations Manager Paul Dennis says 80% of his staff are veterans,
or have some close family member who is. That also means more veterans are in contact with his office. These salmon-colored cards represent Montgomery area veterans who are looking for jobs and who are given preference in job referrals. Dennis says his office serves a higher percentage of veterans than any other office in the state.
Well, for the past year, well, not just for the past year, my staff has been very veteran-oriented. It's been an effort on the part of all, not just the effort of one individual, through our operations manager, through our LVER local vet rep, and through the total staff. We've tried to give the veteran the fair share in what he's supposed to have.
Have you been actively seeking job referrals for them?
We have a system whereby the veteran is exposed first to all jobs that are placed with this office. Not just in this Montgomery office. I have to give credit to Wetumpka, Tallahassee, and Prattville office as well.
But the record shows that you do have a good record as far as giving preference to veterans seeking
We feel
employment.
that it's real good. I mean, first we won the state award a couple of months ago and submitted it on a national basis, and fortunately we did get the national award. Our percentages run very high for the veteran.
How do you key your people? How do you tell them? How do you get them motivated to seek preferences for the veteran?
Well, it's a matter of establishing certain procedures whereby the veteran is first exposed. Some jobs, such as mandatory employers, we give 48-hour preference to employers or to veterans to these particular employers. And by that, they have first exposure to the job.
Dennis was awarded a plaque today in recognition of his efforts in behalf of veterans. He personally knows the problems of veterans, by the way. He lost both legs during a bazooka attack on his unit just 1 month before World War II was ended. Jack Margraves, WSFA TV News, Montgomery. There you go.
The induction ceremonies took place in the State House of Representatives with the chairman of the Alabama Academy of Honor, former Governor John Patterson, in charge.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Alabama Academy of Honor assembles here today to honor 10 of Alabama's most outstanding citizens by formally inducting them into the Academy of Honor. As chairman of the Academy of Honor, and on behalf of the Academy, I extend a warm and cordial welcome to every one of you. We're glad to have you here.
The law says each year 10 members may be elected to the Academy until its membership reaches 100. All living governors of Alabama are automatically members of the Academy. Governor George Wallace, who presented the new inductees with certificates, also offered his congratulations to the new members.
I think that is a philosophy and attitude of the peoples of this particular region that's eventually going to save the body politic and the economy and economic system in this United States. And I want to thank you who are assembled here today for the great, great part that you played in doing just that. Congratulations to you fine, distinguished gentlemen and ladies who are being today inducted into the Academy. Thank you very much.
6 of the 10 inductees are attorneys by profession. U.S. District Court Judge Seaborn Lynn, senior judge of the Northern District of Alabama, was among those recognized today. Lynn was appointed to the court in 1946 by President Harry Truman. Retired Associate Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court, Pelham Jones Merrill, was next. Merrill is a former state legislator and was elected as Associate Justice in 1952. He retired in 1976. Of the 78 members of the Academy, 69 are still living. 3 of the most recent inductees did not attend the ceremonies. George Mitchell, WSFA TV News.
This that I did this morning, and then this is my net now. That's how we. Thank you so much.
All right. Yes. I have my qualifying papers, and I'd like to file under your office for the county, for the Alabama Public Service Commission, place number 1. Complete that we've done everything that's necessary under the law, that is, file with the Secretary of State.
I'm sorry, Sam, I have to answer the phone. It's Graham.
Governor Wallace's meeting with his cabinet was the first in several months. He said he urged his cabinet members not to let up on their devotion to their jobs for the remaining months of his administration, and he expected them to refrain from actively campaigning for any political candidate while on his staff.
Made no suggestion to them as to who they should vote or not vote for, because they're perfectly capable of doing that. But I did not want them to be actively engaged in anyone's campaign. No individual or no in any particular race that I have in mind. Of course, I did say that if I decide to get involved in one, I expect you to be with me, but I made a decision as of the moment not to be involved. But, of course, things always can change.
Are you saying that although you'll be politically active, you're not going to be seeking any office this political year?
I am not going to seek any office this year, no.
What did you instruct the cabinet members to do should they become involved politically with a candidate?
Well, if they become involved actively, such as public appearances and things of that sort, television, otherwise, that I would expect them to resign.
Wallace said he has not exactly firmed up a date for a special session of the legislature. He said the law is unclear on constitutional questions and whether amendments must be passed by the legislature 90 days prior to being voted on by the electorate. But he anticipated to issue a call late in July. Will a special session being called, will it be limited just to consideration of a lid bill, or will the other issues be involved?
No, I'm sure that any particular session that is called will probably involve, especially the 3 matters that I've talked about, is the matter of keeping people's ad valorem property taxes from going up to the extent they would go up under the present situation. And also the school budget that I hope will be one passed. It will leave a surplus in the education treasury, that is the trust fund treasury, and also the matter of the refunding of TVA collections to the counties in the TVA area. Of course, they can consider any legislation that they desire to consider, but it would take a 2/3 vote for its passage.
Would you want those 3 issues to be considered in one special session?
Well, at the present time, possibly yes, but I'm not firm on that.
George Mitchell, WSFA TV News, the state capitol.